Los Angeles, 1984. The city of angels was living a nightmare dot in the dead of night. A shadow moved through the darkness. He didn't knock. He broke windows. He kicked down doors. Over a year, California lived in paralyzing fear. Families slept with lights on. Neighbors watched each other's homes. Children were kept indoors after sunset. A predator hunted in the night, and no one was safe. His name was Richard Ramirez, but the media gave him a different name. A name that would haunt California for decades. The Night Stalker. 14 murders. Countless attacks. Zero mercy. This is the story of one of America's most terrifying serial killers. Welcome to Dark History Files. Richard Ramirez was born on February 29, 1960. In El Paso, Texas, he was the youngest of 5 children in a Mexican-American family. His childhood was far from normal. At age 2, he witnessed his cousin Miguel murder his own wife in a fit of rage. Miguel would later become a Green Beret in Vietnam and allegedly showed young Richard gruesome photos of war atrocities. Ramirez became obsessed with 2 things: drugs and the occult. He dropped out of school at 16. He moved to Los Angeles, chasing dreams that quickly turned into nightmares. To survive, he worked odd jobs, but mostly he stole. He slept in cars, in parks, anywhere he could find shelter. He funded his existence through petty crime. And slowly, something dark began to awaken inside him. By 1984, he believed he was doing the devil's work, and soon he would prove it. April 10th, 1984, the first known murder. 9-year-old Mei Lung was found stabbed to death in a San Francisco hotel basement. Ramirez had attacked her during a burglary. It was brutal, senseless, evil, but this was just the beginning. June 28th, 1984, Los Angeles. Ramirez broke into the home of 79-year-old Jenny Vinco. He slashed her throat. Pattern was emerging. Nighttime attacks, forced entry, extreme violence, no discrimination. Elderly, young, male, female, Ramirez didn't care. Then came the attacks that would terrorize Los Angeles. March 17th, 1985. Vincent Zizara, 64, and his wife Maxine, 64, were murdered in their Whittier home. Vincent was shot 4 times. Maxine's eyes were gouged out. The killer left satanic symbols at the scene. April 2nd, 1985. Carol Kyle, 42, was shot and killed. Her 9-year-old daughter was home during the attack but hid and survived. May 29th, 1985. Bill Doy, 56, was shot. He survived. His neighbor, Leela Needing, 79, was also shot. She too survived. The attacks continued. Dale Okazaki, 23, Sileon Yu, 30, Joyce Lucille Nelson, 61. Each victim more tragic than the last. By August 1985, Ramirez had murdered at least 14 people. He had attacked and injured dozens more. He struck in Los Angeles, San Francisco, and throughout California. He was a ghost, a demon, a nightmare, made flesh. The police were overwhelmed. Detectives from multiple jurisdictions tried to connect the dots. But Ramirez was careful. He left little evidence. He changed his methods. He struck in different cities. He seemed to vanish into thin air. The media dubbed him the Night Stalker. The name stuck. Newspapers ran daily coverage. Television news led with Night Stalker stories. Fear spread like wildfire. People bought guns, installed alarm systems, formed neighborhood watch groups. Parents kept children home after dark. Couples slept with weapons under their pillows. Los Angeles was paralyzed. Police released composite sketches. They offered rewards. They interviewed thousands of witnesses. But the Night Stalker remained free. Then, a breakthrough, a fingerprint. found at one crime scene matched a fingerprint from another. The same killer, the cases were connected. But they still didn't know who he was. Another break. A stolen license plate was found. It led investigators to a name, Richard Ramirez. But by the time they had his name, Ramirez had already disappeared. August 24th, 1985. The Night Stalker. Struck again, he broke into a home in Mission Viejo. He attacked the residents. But this time, something went wrong. He left behind fingerprints. Eyewitnesses got a good look at him. Police released his photo to the media. Finally, the public saw the face of their nightmare. Richard Ramirez, 25 years old. Dark hair, intense eyes, a look that could chill your blood. The manhunt intensified. His photo was everywhere, on television, in newspapers, on billboards. Over 1 million people saw his face. And then someone recognized him. August 31st, 1985, East Los Angeles. Ramirez was spotted by local residents. They recognized him from the news. They surrounded him. An angry mob formed. The people had caught the Night Stalker. They beat him. They kicked him. They screamed for justice. Police arrived just in time to save him from being torn apart by the crowd. He was arrested, handcuffed, thrown in the back of a patrol car. The nightmare was overdone at his apartment. Police found evidence linking him to the murders. Satanic paraphernalia, stolen jewelry, weapons. The devil's disciple had been caught. The trial began. July 1990. It lasted 16 months. One of the longest and most expensive trials in California history. Ramirez showed no remorse. He smiled at victims' families. He drew pentagrams on his hands. He shouted, "Hail Satan." In court, he was unrepentant, defiant, evil. On September 20th, 1991, the verdict came. Guilty on all counts. 13 counts of murder. Numerous additional charges. The judge sentenced him to death. Richard Ramirez was sent to San Quentin's death row. He would spend the next 24 years awaiting execution. On death row, Ramirez became a celebrity of sorts. He received fan mail. Women wrote him love letters. One even married him. He gave interviews. He sold artwork. He continued to worship Satan. He appealed his sentence repeatedly. He delayed execution for over 2 decades, but justice, though slow, would eventually come. On June 7th, 2013, Richard Ramirez died at age 53. The official cause, complications from B-cell lymphoma. Cancer had claimed the devil's disciple. He never showed remorse. He never apologized. He died as he lived, unrepentant. Richard Ramirez murdered at least 14 people. He terrorized an entire state. He left scars on California that would never fully heal. His story is a reminder that evil exists, that monsters walk among us, that sometimes the darkness wins, but it's also a story of justice, of a community that refused to be defeated, of ordinary citizens who caught a killer when police couldn't. The Night Stalker is gone, but his victims are remembered. Their families still grieve, their stories still matter, and we must never forget. This has been Dark History Files. If this documentary honored the victims and provided value, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Share this video to keep their memory alive. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and never forget the darkness that once walked among us.